anywhere from 6'3" as the shortest to about 310 pounds on the one defensive tackle is 6'5", 310. And you know, we were fortunate. We I think came up with some schemes that were pretty good, but more than anything, our front five people just really came off the football, and I think wanted to show that, hey, we can run the football. This is something we want to do during the year, and let's go out and get after it. And so I think more than anything, it was just a lot of heart up front and good running by our running backs and good blocking by Trent Roski, our fullback. But Matt Fiedler and Casey Schumacher both had good days running the football, and I think it was a credit to the guys up front on the offensive line that they were able to get some movement and you know, not back down at all to bigger and maybe faster and stronger people up front.
And nothing is more helpful to a young quarterback than if he can turn and hand the ball to some quality running backs and get in behind those hogs and move the football that way, and so he isn't looking at a lot of third and long situations.
Yeah, we really were in very few third and long situations. That's a good point, Todd. We had many 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 2 situations that we were able to convert on. We had 19 first downs, which anytime you have that many, you're gonna win some football games. But yeah, it is. It takes the pressure off Adam as a quarterback, and hopefully we can get him into situations that are more run-pass options where defenses can't play for just the pass or just the run. They're more in those 2nd and 3rd and short yardage situations where play action is good, and you're able to, you know, throw some high percentage short passes also.
How was the week of practice leading up? Did you feel that your team would come out and give you a solid effort like they did?
Well, I think from Wednesday on we felt pretty good. Tuesday is always a little bit chaotic for us early in the season. We're trying to mimic the other team's offense and defense, and until our guys learn how to do that type of prep work, it's a little bit trying on some of those Tuesday practices. But from Wednesday on, this last week, it was real good. The intensity was there. We were able to simulate Vermilion's offense and defense, and then we felt pretty comfortable by the time we got through Thursday practice. And we're kind of at the same stage this week. Yesterday was a lot of learning and kind of a slow practice, so we're hopeful that throughout the remainder of this week now we're able to pick up that pace.
Now, was the team, I mean, as a coaching staff, did you feel at what point in the game that, hey, we're going to win this football game, we've got this, everybody's clicking on the right cylinders, we're going to hang on to this thing?
Well, actually, I thought there was two really key points. The first one was the first time we had the ball offensively and went right down the field and scored. And, you know, if you go back to last year's game when we got beat 36-0, and I think we had maybe 2 first downs total. We didn't have any in the first down, and all of a sudden we put together 5 first downs and go down and score on about a 70-yard drive the first time we had the ball. I thought then, hey, this is, you know, if we can play solid the rest of the game, we got a chance here. And then we got to the point right before the first half. We didn't score. We got down at a 4th and 2 or 3, and we decided to go for a field goal and didn't get it. But we went in at halftime 10-7 down, and we knew we were getting the ball the second half. And you know, that drive right before the half was a long drive too. And even though we didn't convert it, we showed that, hey, we're just going to keep plugging and we're going to get it. And then finally, when we got the long drive to start the second half, we went 15 plays and 72 yards and scored in a 7-minute drive to start the third quarter. And then it was just a question now, let's just keep playing solid the rest of the way, and we've got a real chance.
Boy, 2 offensive drives at the start of the game and at the start of the half where you get your 2 touchdowns. Must have been some good preparation going on.
Well, you know, I don't know. I think, you know, we were prepared, I think, but I think more than anything the players, you know, when they had a chance before the game to really focus in on what they wanted to do, and then at halftime to regroup and say, hey, let's dedicate ourselves again. I think that was, you know, the real key. I think they came out very mentally strong and were able to put those drives together. And anytime you run 15 plays and put, you know, 5 and 6 first downs together, you can't have any mistakes in those drives. And that was what was, you know, fun to see with our players being able to do that.
How about penalty flag wise? Did you avoid those?
Well, we weren't as good as we'd like to be. I think we only had about 45 yards in penalties, but we had 6, and most of them were the 5-yard varieties of procedures. And we had a couple situations where we didn't line up with enough people on the line of scrimmage, where we just were off in our formations. But there are ones that we can correct in that, and, you know, hopefully we'll be able to do so. We've been very good about not taking any 15-yard penalties, any personal foul type things, and we're going to need to, you know, continue that type of discipline throughout the year.
Ridgewater Warriors are winners 14-10 over Vermilion this past Saturday, and let's take a look at the first half highlight package. Coach, why don't you run us through this?
Yeah, we're on defense here. This is the first series, and just show pretty good pressure from the outside. And the first interception of the game, first turnover, Aaron Blom there, our guest today with a with the interception, and then now this is, we go on offense right away. You can see we pop a nice little trap up the middle to Matt Fiedler, our tailback. That was a good play for us on the day, and Matt had an excellent day, about 100 yards rushing. One of our third down conversions, a little slant pass to Josh Kavanaugh. And then this is our first touchdown. Again, another slant pass, but it's out of a little different formation, and Hoffman finds Kavanaugh in the back of the end zone. So that put us up 7-0.
Not easy to find him there, rolling right, throwing back to his left.
Yeah, and actually he was supposed to be more of a straight three-step drop, but he moved out of the pocket a little bit with some pressure. A little good hit by first-year safety Matt Lilleberg from ACGC, make a good force knockdown of the ball. I think we show a series of defensive plays here. Again, you know, pressure, but not quite getting all the way there, and they were able to move around, and this is their scoring drive now. They came right down and scored, answered our score. And actually, like I said, we don't show the highlight on this one, but now they kick their extra point, and actually we block it, but they fall out in the end zone for 2 points and go at 8-7. So that was kind of an unfortunate you know, event here there on the extra point. Great hit by Matt Rulin, our linebacker for Mean Valley. Unfortunately, we don't get this fumble, but we do get 2 others on the day after pretty good hits.
Again, a little rollout here.
This is a design sprint out now, and Adam buys some time before, again, Kavanaugh gets open. Josh had 8 catches for 104 yards on the day, so really had a fine game receiving, too. This is one of those bend but break deals, bend but not break deals, Todd. They get a nice little run down inside. Their running back was pretty good, broke some tackles, and then we get a big turnover here. Josh Mulder pulls the guy down from behind, and actually Aaron Blom here makes a fumble recovery. So that was a good play to see our defense respond. And then this is their 2-point safety. The snap was a little high, but not too bad, but it was so hot. And Brian Dingman, our punter, kind of wet hands, and the ball just slipped right through his hands. And so they go up 10-7 on that safety, but it was nice to see Brian respond here. We kick on the safety and chose to punt instead of kick off, and you'll see Brian has an excellent punt here to kind of establish the field position again to back on our side of the field.
Yeah, really drove back the return men.
Yeah, he did. You know, that's a 60-yard punt or so. You know, it's a net 45 if you figure 15 yards back on a regular punting situation, but with very little return at all. Again, Fiedler on an off-tackle play. I believe this is our drive here now, Todd. This is Schumacher, the other tailback. This is our drive right before half, and again, we don't score on this drive. We kind of fizzle out, you know, right at the half there, and miss a field goal opportunity. But it was a good long drive, and you know, it seemed like a lot of times that we had the ball offensively. Even though we didn't score, we were keeping it for 2 and 3 first downs, which is a nice sign. It was able to give our defense some rest, as hot as it was, and keep their defense on the field as much as we possibly could. And then in the second half, I think we really did wear them down.
Some sprint out and roll out action there from your quarterback. He looks comfortable rolling and throwing.
Yeah, Adam's a good athlete. You know, he does a lot of things well, play action and sprint out, and even the drop back stuff. But we like to sprint out stuff more so for our protection-wise. We feel like we can't just sit with our quarterback in the pocket all the time and be able to protect against, you know, the good defenses that we see. So we need to move it around, and Adam's pretty good at it too.
Yeah, and how about the I formation? Did you use a lot of I for your running game?
Yeah, we did. You know, that's interesting. We've been a team that's kind of been an offset I, and we put the fullback, and we gain an advantage by putting the fullback offset and his blocking angles in that, but we kind of tip our hat a little bit too about where we're going to run to. There's very few plays, misdirection plays, that we can run away from that. So we tried to stay more on the eye this year and try to threaten, or this game, and try to threaten both sides of the field.
You have used some twin backs in the past as well, haven't you? Are you using that much this year?
Not a whole lot. It's more of a passing set for us and puts our running backs in a good pass protection set. But we'll, for the most part, are an I team.
So you're trailing 10-7 at the half, and what were we talking about at halftime?
Well, I think we said, hey, we're fine. We're right where we want to be. You know, we missed a couple opportunities. They got fortunate on a couple specialty plays to actually have the lead. If we don't give up those two, we're ahead 7-6. So we felt like we're fine. We just got to make sure and come out with one good drive here, or at least, and then play solid football. And fortunately, that was the way it played out. And
then, as Coach Fromm mentioned, to start the second half with a 15-play drive, and let's take a look at the second half highlights.
This is right after the kickoff now. I think we'll show a series of 5-6 plays on this drive. Inside trap to Trent Roski, our fullback from Melrose. more of a drop back pass, a 5-step drop, and a throw to Kavanaugh. Again, good strong arm by Adam, being able to thread it in there. Now we're down the field a little bit here, and we showed the plunge in by Hoffman there on the 50th play of that drive to go ahead 14-7.
That's amazing, go that many plays. And
it really is. Like you say, you put together that many plays without making mistakes, and it's great. This is the next series now. Their little running back really works hard and is going to get everything he can, but sometimes he tries a little bit too hard and tried to pitch the ball, and Scott Clark was able to fall on the fumble. And we thought, boy, if we can get that one in and go up at 21-10, but we didn't. We got one first down and then stalled out. But a series of some defensive plays here again. This is a fourth down situation in the third quarter down in there where we were able to stop them on fourth down. Again, a bend but don't break situation. And then some offensive plays here. We don't go on another scoring drive, but we put together some first downs. A good run by Schumacher here to get another first down. And the other thing that we did well, here we show a punt situation. We were able to establish field position with the punting game. And this was a fourth down we had. We really could have gone for the first down, and we decided, hey, let's punt them and try to pin them. And after the punt, we thought the theory looked pretty good, and now you'll see a big play by Vermillion coming back to get one over the top of our secondary. And we thought at this point, they got the lead. And you can see Aaron just got a gutty play and runs him down and gets him out of bounds. And then we force him into a fourth down situation. This is, I believe, their fourth down. And this is their third down play, excuse me. Another pass breakdown by Aaron. And then we get an interception by David Knutson in the end zone on really an outstanding play.
Oh, that was a great play. Did it bounce off his helmet there? Is that why it went so high?
It went through a couple players' hands, I think. And, when you first pop up, you're scared that it's going to fall into the hands of their player. But David made a great play on it. And, there again, it wasn't a sack, but we got good pressure. They really could have called grounding, I think, on that play. But we got some good pressure. And then this is the last interception that we had, won by Jarek Johnson from Faribault, and got fortunate on a tip there. And we're trying to run out the clock, and this is our third down play that Matt Fiedler was able to get a first down. He fumbled, but was able to fight and keep on hold of the ball. And then we were able to run out the clock here with a kneel down the last few seconds of the game.
And that ended the game right there in a 14-10 win, and some pretty happy folks on the sidelines.
There really was, Todd, and we had a great crowd, a lot of parents there, a lot of people from town, and it was really a fun game. To put as much emphasis on a game like that and then to be able to come out with a win is very rewarding.
Yeah, now talk about how that kind of springboards the team into the next week. We talked about on last week's show how your team set some goals at the beginning. One of those goals was to beat Vermillion. You've accomplished that, so what's next on the list?
Well, I think you can go two ways, Todd. You talk about the springboard effect. It can throw us into playing well for the next, successive weeks in a row. The other thing it can do, and you have to be a little leery about, is, hey, the feeling that we beat Vermillion now, we're so good that, we can beat anybody. It's just going to happen easy, and that's not the case at all. We really have to have the mindset that we're going to come back and work hard this week and approach it like we're 0-2 instead of 2-0, and just play hard. We tell our players all the time that anybody can beat anybody in this league, ourselves included. And, so we have to be very aware of Northland. They're 0-2, and they're, hungry for a win. So we need to just get back to the solid idea of let's keep getting better. But no question, if we approach it in the right way, a win like this can really help us down the road.
14-10, the Ridgewater victory, and one of the defensive stars, as you saw on the highlight package there, was second-year free safety Aaron Blom from Montevideo. And let's bring in Aaron now. And Aaron, congratulations to you and your teammates on a really nice win, and you can beat Vermillion. You got to feel proud about that.
Yeah, I feel real good about it, and I think the rest of the team does too.
Did the defensive unit really feel that they were having a pretty good game, making a lot of big plays?
I think they felt pretty good about themselves, but like Verral was saying, it was so hot out and everyone was so tired that they didn't feel like they were doing anything, but they were doing a good job.
You feel like you're in slow motion a little bit at times, but the other team is feeling the effects of that heat as well, as we saw.
I think they were feeling it worse than we were because they had some big boys in their team, and I think they were lacking a little bit.
Now talk about that interception that you made. It looked like you came over real nice and had to make a pretty tough catch on the ball.
Yeah, well, I seen the quarterback rolling out, and I just kind of went with the quarterback, and he overthrew his receiver a little bit, and I just picked it off.
Now, as the free safety, are you allowed a little freedom to kind of look in the backfield and try and chase where the ball is going?
Oh yeah, you got a lot of freedom as a free safety.
Coaching staff kind of lets you kind of make some decisions out there being a second-year starter?
Yeah, once in a while, not all the time, but we get quite a bit of freedom back there, I guess.
Yeah, and then the fumble recovery you had, you know, when we were talking before the show, and you said you had a fumble recovery also. I was figuring, you know, maybe 5 or 10 yards down the field, but it was behind the line of scrimmage that you recovered the fumble. Were you just up and run support, or was there a blitz package on?
Well, as you know, as free safety, you can really see the whole field in a big perspective, and I seen they were running the ball, and I just came up and I was going to fill the hole, and Josh Mulder put the hit on the guy, and the ball just happened to bounce right in front of me, so I fell on it.
Gets pretty wild at that point. Everybody's yelling. Is there a code word that you yell when the ball's on the ground?
Well, we usually yell fire, but everyone's yelling something different. Ball. People are always saying different stuff.
Just as long as you're getting after it.
Yep.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the fact that you're a second-year starter now for Ridgewater, and you've had a great career so far. And what's it like to be a captain the second year? Have you kind of taken on a little bit of a leadership role?
Yeah, I think all 4 captains have taken on a pretty good leadership role in it. It feels real good to be a sophomore. You feel like you got a little more leadership, and you just know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Now, you were a running back and a 2-time all-conference running back in the West Central South at Montevideo. Do you miss getting to carry the pigskin a little bit?
Yeah, I watched Matt Fiedler, and he's a good little running back, and it brings back memories. I miss it, yeah.
So every time you get your hands on the football, I'm sure on an interception or whatever, you'd love to make some open field moves.
Yeah.
What's kind of been one of your biggest memories so far from a season and a fraction now with Ridgewater?
Well, I think the biggest memory right now comes from last year's when I had an interception on a 2-point conversion and ran it back 102 yards the other way. But other than that, Vermilion's going to always stick with me because there was a good team we beat last weekend. Just the memory of playing with all the guys, I think.
Yeah, and a big team too. Were you kind of spent physically, beat up a little bit after the game?
Yeah, I think our linemen and Matt Fiedler were the most beat up, but they did a good job.
Now, as a free safety, who are you seeing coming at you on running plays? Who's trying to block you?
Well, once in a while I got the the offensive tackles coming out at me and running backs, but other than that, it's mostly running backs coming out to block.
So you feel like you can defeat a running back in a defensive scheme and to make a tackle?
Yeah, most of the time, because by the time they get to you, you know where the ball's already going, or you know where the running back's going, and you can usually beat them to the running back before they get to you.
Now, what's been the biggest adjustment, I asked this of all the guys we have on, in going from high school ball into playing for Ridgewater?
Well, I think the biggest adjustment is not being able to play, you know, both ways, or not being able to play offense, and you gotta just stick with it, I guess. I don't know, I've had the most fun, I guess, just playing defense, because you get to learn your position, you know. Like in high school, like myself, I'd play running back, then we'd go to defense and we'd play free safety, and in college you work on your main position most of the time. So you get to know your position a lot.
And, so you'd just as soon be out there for 95 plays than for 50 defensive plays.
Yeah, once in a while, but like last Saturday, I'm glad I was only playing one way. It was warm out.
Yeah. Now you guys are off to a great start, 2-0. What's the feeling like on the team? Are the guys pretty excited about where things are headed?
Yeah, I think everyone's pretty excited, but yet still in the back of their mind, they know we got to go back to work and beat some more teams.
All right, thanks, Aaron. Congratulations.
Thank
Great
you.
game this last weekend.
Thank you.
Aaron Blom, he's a sophomore starting free safety for the Ridgewater College Warriors as they were victorious this past week, 14-10. He had an interception and a fumble recovery in the game. And let's bring Coach John Vraw back in here. And Coach, well, get ready for Northland this coming week. And not only do you have to guard against the fact that you're 2-0, they're 0-2, and maybe a little complacency, but you really handed it to them last year as well.
Yeah, you know, we've been fortunate. We've beat them, I think it's been 4 or 5 years in a row. And, you know, some of those years have been pretty close games, and some have been, you know, a little bit wider spread. So The thing about Northland is they gang up on you and blitz a lot on defense, and I think probably of each of the last 4 years that we've played them, we've seen a different offense from them. They've been anywhere from wishbone to spread offense, and now this year they're in the wing T. And really in looking at their offense over the last 3 or 4 years, and then watching them on film this year, their wing T stuff is the best stuff that they've been doing. And so they run the ball pretty well, and we're going to have to, switch gears, and instead of playing pass defense against Vermillion, we're going to have to play run defense this week. And but we're excited about it. We're hopeful that, like Aaron said, we can keep the right attitude that, hey, we gotta keep working. And if we do that, I think we'll be in pretty good shape, and we're going to have to be patient enough on offense so we don't get too disappointed when we take some losses on some blitz plays, because we know they're going to get us sometimes. We just got to, hang in there and get the big play and pop a running back through the line and get a long run or hit a long pass over the top, because that's about the only way you can get them on defense. You're not going to, sit and go 3 or 4 yards at a time like we were able to against Vermillion.
Now, the wing T, last time you guys saw that maybe at Normandale a couple of years ago, and you were very successful. Normandale was running it about as well as anyone,
yeah.
And you were able to shut them right down, so you got an idea what to do.
Yeah, but you missed the year before. Normandale got us for a couple years on it pretty good, so we like to remember that 95 year, because it was the year we were able to get Normandale. But boy, they taught us a lesson about it a couple years in a row, and it does. It takes a lot of study and a lot of preparation by your team, because it's something, a lot of high schools see it, so that's not different. Like Wilmer High School sees it, and they see it a lot in the Central Lakes, so it's good to have players on your team that have seen it. But in terms of the college game, you see very few teams that run the wing T, so it's different preparation for our defense. But yeah, I think we've learned something from Normandale, and a little bit on, what's good in our package to be able to defend it. So hopefully that's the case. But it's got to be the players knowing that, and it's going to take a good week of learning to be able to get them all on the same page that way.
Now, without giving away all the secrets to your defense, talk about what a couple of the keys will be, some of the things that you'll stress to your defensive linemen and backers in particular, how to disrupt that wing T.
Well, Northland is one that likes to go unbalanced with their wing T stuff, and so we have to be able to, number one, recognize the unbalance and be able to shift over and play into that. And then I think, other than that, Todd, the biggest thing is our inside linebackers have to read their guards, because the guards are going to they pull so much, they're going to tell you where they're going. And then the last one is always be aware of counter and misdirection, because they get you overplaying. They'll start putting a lot of people to one side of the football and get you overplaying to that side, and then pretty soon, once you gang up and play too many on that side, then they'll come back with misdirection and hurt you with a long play. And we can afford the 3 and 4 yard gains. We just can't give up those big long ones that really hurt you. So I think more than anything, be aware of the counter misdirection plays for big plays.
Okay, how about the emphasis that you'll make it to the offensive team?
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, just be patient. We're going to get a lot of blitzing, and we just need to hang in there and know that they're going to get us sometimes, and our turn's going to come. And when we hurt them, hopefully we hurt them pretty bad, and punch it through there and get a long trap play up the middle with a fullback, or break a halfback off tackle, or the other way is to get over the top with a passing game, and we hope we can do that.
A lot of 3-step drop then coming for
your
quarterback?
Definitely, and we have to screen and draw to be able to keep slow their rush down a little bit. But we can go back and show in past years where we've had some success with things, so that helps too, to be able to bring some confidence to your offense that we've been able to do it in the past, and these plays have worked. Let's hang in there and do them again.
Okay, now talk about where and when coming up on Saturday.
Well, we're at in Thief River Falls, where Northland is located, and we're 1:30 start on Saturday.
All right, good luck this coming Saturday. Congratulations again on beating Vermillion.
Great, Todd. Thank you.
Head coach John Vraa has been our guest as per usual, along with Aaron Blom, second-year starting free safety for the Ridgewater Warriors, as they beat Vermillion this past weekend by a score of 14-10 at Hodap Field in Wilmer. Congratulations again to them, and good luck as they travel to Thief River Falls to take on Northland. 1:30 Saturday is the kickoff on that one. Be sure and join us next week once again for the Warrior Football Show 98. Hi, and welcome to the Warrior Football Show 98 as we talk about the third week of the season. A victory for the Ridgewater Warriors, 42-18 this past weekend as they were victorious over Northland up at Thief River Falls and get set to enter divisional play this coming Saturday against arch rival Fergus Falls. I'm Todd Brigeth, and joining me as usual, head coach of the Ridgewater Warriors, John Vron. Coach, well, it's kind of nice. Once again, congratulations, a nice win.
It was a good win, Todd. You know, we came off a pretty emotional win last week against Vermilion. And we were a little concerned as coaches going on the road and see what kind of intensity we'd play with up at Northland, and we came out and played very well, scored the first couple times we had the ball, got some turnovers, and really built an early lead, and we're up 35-12 at half, and then, like you said, went on to win 42-18.
Really defensive dominated wins the first 2 weeks. They kind of, a lot of veterans there. They helped the offense, which is a little bit younger, especially at the skill positions. But this time a lot nicer. The offense stepped up. You put 42 on the board, and I know you said it was some of that was based on turnovers, but nonetheless, probably your best offensive game.
I think it was, Todd. We were 10 of 14 in the passing game for 150 yards, which was nice to see. Actually our first two scores were big pass plays. We had a 45-yarder to Josh Kavanaugh, and then came back with a 26-yard touchdown pass to Josh on our second score, and both of them were third and long situations. So it was nice to be able to see our passing game go in those critical third and long situations. And yeah, we did. Offensively, I thought we played pretty well against an aggressive defense. They weren't overly big, but they were pretty aggressive blitzing type defense.
Anytime a young man throws 3 touchdown passes, as Jason Gilbertson also had a reception, he has to be walking around campus feeling pretty good about himself this week.
Well, I think Adam should feel real good about himself as a college football quarterback. He's got the 3 games under his belt now, and has thrown 5 touchdown passes and 3 interceptions. And as long as you're ahead of the game with touchdowns and interceptions, that's a pretty good stat. And I think he's throwing about 54% on the completion rate. So he's doing everything that we're asking him to do, and we were hopeful that he would do coming in. And I think he's got the right type of mentality and poise to be able to give a calming influence to the veterans around him that, hey, this young quarterback is doing pretty well and feels pretty confident in his position.
And in the backfield, it was nice you were able to use a little bit of a running back by committee approach, and due in part to the fact that you had a pretty good size lead and you do have some depth at that position.
Yeah, I think so. Casey Schumacher had a decent amount of carries too. He had 10 carries this week. Matt Fiedler was named Player of the Week in the Southern Division, had 96 yards. But Roski, the fullback, Trent, had a good game at fullback. And then we were able to, like you say, get some of the next guys in there carrying the ball a lot. Kevin Haukus, our second fullback, had about 30-some yards. And then Pat Portner, actually our third halfback, Pat had over 40 yards rushing, and most of that in the fourth quarter. But he showed some real nice ability and showed the patience to be able to come in and play later in the game and not hang your head and worry about the number of repetitions that you're getting, but just hang in there and say, hey, when it's my turn, I'm ready to go. And he was, and that was fun to see, for not only Pat, but some of the other guys at other positions too that haven't had a chance to play as much in the first 2 games.
We've got a young man sitting off camera here, John Svobodny, one of the starting guards. He's sitting over there thinking, here they are talking about the skill position guys again. They get all the glory. You can't do anything of it without that offensive line.
No, and I think, Todd, I thought last weekend against Vermilion, our offensive line really kind of came of age. We had the sophomores and played a good first half, our first game, and maybe not such a good half the second game against Mesabi, and then really got it together